Yeah, she did in fact say, liar, liar, pants on fire. Let's review the Firestarter remake. Firestarter stars Zac Efron, Rhiannon Kira Armstrong, and is directed by Keith Thomas. What's up, guys? It's a brand new 2022 horror review, the Firestarter remake. A quick little backstory on me and Firestarter. I haven't seen the original. I still haven't seen the original. I've always wanted to see the original. I know that Heather Locklear's in it. That's a great reason to see the original, right? Drew Barrymore. But for some reason, it's just one of those that just kind of slipped by me. I don't know why. I need to go back and watch it, especially after watching this movie. I can almost guarantee you that the original's better than this. That's not saying a lot about the new movie. Also, I just posted my post-watch quick reaction. I did that for Doctor Strange, and I got a lot of views, okay? And it really helps out with the channel. So, plus, I think you guys want to just like the quick down and dirty sometimes, and then you want to jump into the nuts and bolts. So I gave you the quick down and dirty, and now we're gonna set the table, and I'm gonna give you the nuts and bolts of the movie, okay? So first off, let's give you a quick plot synopsis. Our real main characters of this are Andy, played by Zac Efron, and Charlie, played by the young actress Rhiannon Kira Armstrong. At the beginning of the movie, they set up this world where these experiments are on these college students to give them, pretty much like make them mutants, like in the X-Men, you know, give them these powers. And so Andy, played by Zac Efron, his wife Vicky, they both are parents of Charlie. And as you can guess, they both have their powers. And Charlie has her own specific, unique powers because she is born. She wasn't like experimented on. And one interesting thing is both parents have different, I guess, motivations with the child. They both care about the child, they love the child, but one wants to help the child harness her powers, while Andy doesn't want her to use her powers at all. He wants to just try to suppress and to try to calm her down, to keep her from hurting people.
She just has to shove it down and keep it hidden.
Our responsibility is getting her ready.
Our responsibility is to protect her.
So they both have the best interest in the child, but they think that their chosen motivation will actually ultimately help the child. But there's this evil organization, and they want to, of course, harness this power and try to use it for greed or some other motivation. This is stuff that we've seen a million times in other movies, and by the way, done a million times better. First off, though, let's get into the pros of this movie. There are a couple of pros about the movie. First off, the score by John Carpenter, Cody Carpenter, and Daniel Davies is a good score, okay? As you can probably imagine, I mean, they did the previous Halloween scores, which are phenomenal, and this score really kind of holds the movie up. Okay, I mean, there was a lot of times in the movie I'm checking out of what's going on, and then there will be this really cool music cue that'll come up, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, at least we got that Carpenter score. Couple of nice scenes. There's one scene, this nice moment between Andy and his daughter, and he really drives home why it's important to not kill people. Because earlier in the movie, these bullies, much like Rob Zombie's Halloween, when you had the bullies, the disgusting bullies in the bathroom, and they're taunting young Michael Myers. Very similar scene here. I don't know what the deal is, but gingers are discriminated against in Hollywood, and this is no different. If there is a ginger child in your movie, that child is going to be the bully. It's just a fact. No ifs, ands, or buts around it. Those damn gingers, I swear to God. But yeah, back to this nice moment, and he's telling her, you know, there's going to be bad people in this world, but the thing you don't understand is with bad people, they have families. And so when you kill that person, you're affecting everything around that person. So I like what they were doing there. And then there is this character by the name of Rainbird who is not fully fleshed out. Kind of reminded me of Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men. This was this type of character, but he wasn't nearly as interesting because he wasn't written as well as that character. Potential. This character did have a lot of potential, and I liked where he ultimately went in the story. Okay, so I got to be fair with this. There were a couple of nice things about that. Also, there are some graphic moments in this, you know, when you're dealing with fire and the damage that it can cause. They do show that on the screen. There are some pretty gnarly moments, you know, even though you can kind of tell they use CGI, I guess, for the transition to the final result. I mean, it literally looks like somebody's face is just completely burnt off, and it's pretty gnarly. I will give it that. But now, jumping into the cons, it's a shame because this was written by a lot of the team that did the previous 2 Halloween movies. I've heard that Stephen King's book is a great book. It's hard to translate Stephen King to the big screen, you know, a lot of the times. That's why there are some pretty lackluster Stephen King adaptations out there. And this just felt so rushed. You know, it's a quick hour-and-a-half movie, and you can pack a lot of great stuff in an hour-and-a-half movie, but this one, you don't really get a chance to build the relationship between the father and his daughter. And there are so many great examples of you know, father figures, like Terminator 2. That's an awesome example. They took a lot of time, these little nuggets, these little scenes throughout that made you cry at the end of Terminator 2. There's none of that in this. Everything feels so rushed, and really it just feels generic. It feels acted, and I know you're like, well, these are actors, but I want to be immersed into a world, and I want to feel like it's real when I'm watching a movie. And this doesn't feel like that, you know, unfortunately. So it's hard for me to just really dig in and get invested in, you know, what's going on. Because a story like this is tragic stuff. A child with this much power can be extremely dangerous. And so there's a lot of potential for some really heartfelt moments throughout. And, you know, ultimately, some devastation throughout. I'm not saying that's what happens in this movie, but whatever happens, it's just not planned effectively. And you know what, guys, at the end of the day, it's hard to make a great movie. It really is. You might have a great script in front of you and you think, man, this is gonna be amazing. I'm gonna blow their socks off. But then once it goes to film and the, you know, everything's together, it might not work. And this is just a case of that. It just doesn't work. It's bland. You have generic villains throughout this. You know, the head of the corporation or somebody that's up the rung. Gloria Reuben plays Captain Hollister. I love Gloria Reuben as an actress. If you've seen the show Mr. Robot, she's amazing in that show. She's a psychiatrist and she's wonderful. But she is really given no fat to chew on in this, and it's a shame because I love Gloria Reuben, but just very generic. So guys, at the end of the day, this is just really a wasted effort. Just another remake that fails to launch, that gets forgotten like so many other remakes, and it's a shame. If anything, this made me really want to go back and watch the original now. You know, I'm really curious about that one. So, giving it a 2 hours lost. It's a shame. So, what are your thoughts on Firestarter? Looking forward to hearing them. Also, be sure to come over to Killer Flicks, where we talk horror all day and every day. And on Fridays, we do Free for Fridays. Follow me at Drumdums on all my socials. Support me on Patreon. Buy me a coffee. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Drumdum out.